Hey you guys, good morning. It's MJ. How are you? It's MJ from All to Love. I felt inspired to talk about the upcoming full moon, and right now we're in the equinox. So the equinox are really just representative of shifts of energy depending on where we are in the world. And always these underlying shifts are either kind of completions or beginnings, new beginnings, and they're redirecting our lives. And on one of the healing courses I did years ago, there was this recognition of patterns. Of course, I talk about patterns in the Fearless Life Guide as well. But recognizing we have like little patterns within bigger patterns. Basically, it's like we have these infinite loops of different patterns on various different timelines and dimensions. And we're living in a really exciting time where, like, quite a few of these individual, collective, karmic, earthly, galactic, like almost like all these different levels and layers, we're having a completion of a cycle. I keep getting a 2,000 year, a 26,000 year, and probably beyond. And then now we're really birthing this new cycle. Hey Kurt Mill, how are you? Nice to see you. Nice to see you live. So yeah, because we're having this rather epic closing down of cycles, of course, as we know with infinity and creation, there must be destruction. So we're shedding, we're purging, we're letting go. You know, guys, I gotta say, like, whenever I use the word purging, I'm not a fan. I don't know why. I hear it round and I find myself saying it. I prefer the word like clearing or releasing or transforming, in fact, you know. And there has been a lot of that. Having a rough day. Oh. Just sprinkle you with some juicy love dust. And also the fact that, like, the energies are just really potent right now. I have quite a few of my clients who, fortunately, you know, yoga is one of those things that really does help ground people and move us through some of these energies a little bit more gracefully, you could say. So I either have my clients who are like, "Are you coming tonight? Like, I need you." or or they're not able because they're going away on retreat, or they're kind of like down in the dumps, or just clients sort of sharing with me like their circles of friends, the people in their reality are like going bonkers a little bit, kind of going a little bit insane, a lot of anxieties coming to the surface. So a lot of our deeper underlying patterns are still kind of rising up, and I have to remind myself, like, the most important practice is like our self-love and our self-care. And I know that can sound wishy-washy or totally not relevant, but I'm really noticing the profoundness of the fact that I have spent most of my life like reprogramming my mind to be positive. And now at this time in our human history, I'm really like, even though I'm might be feeling icky, or I might be feeling, what are you planning to do to celebrate this full moon in Aries? Well, Katie and I have an event. So we're launching on Tuesday. Now, when it comes to actual full moons and stuff, I do like just sometimes little personal ceremonies. So I'll like write down in some intentions, and it's been building up for months now. But we actually have an event. So we're launching our Zenful Zero Waste, or it's like a pre-launch for Zenful Zero Waste in the full moon belt. And then, oh yeah, full moon and equinox. So that's like the energy flow that we're in. And launching, yeah, the Zenful Zero Waste course. So this, well, thank you for the reminder, by the way, Kurt Mill. I so easily get distracted and run off on tangents. But the full moon coming up on like the 24th, 25th is like the movement forward. It's like suddenly gates are going to open, doors are going to open, portals of timelines for new realities are going to open up for us. And really the only thing we want to encourage ourselves to do is to continue to permission ourselves to have all that we desire. That sounds great. I'm getting into low impact stuff too. Ooh, 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 ooh. Yes, and you know, Kurt, the reason I'm really excited about this stuff is like obviously I've been in this like spiritual world and yoga world, and it doesn't particularly res with me to like, you know, sell people like you can change your life in 36 days or whatever. But like with the zero waste course and the unplug specifically and the vegan, like it's practical. And it's something that I think the majority of humanity can actually get on board with. And it's not wafty, airy-fairy. It's like, oh, no, just stop buying so goddamn much and start reusing stuff and or not creating so much waste, because it's apparent that, and you know, to me, this is so obvious about the karmic backlog, this denial of our responsibility and our emotions and all this kind of stuff, and people continuously finding more distractions to not own their shit, or repeatedly blaming other people for how they feel, right? Or being victims, being sad victims, but refusing to make changes, right? Refusing to making excuses, economic excuses why we can't have solar power, or why this alternative won't work, or this or that. And it's like, I think really part of this full moon energy in Aries, and considering I'm an Aries, actually, you guys, there's 3 members, there's 3 people working in Team Love. All 3 of us, obviously we didn't plan this, but like all 3 of us are Aries. We have to change a lot, move into a more sustainable, holistic world. Totally get that, right? And that's kind of all it is. Like I think no matter what angle we're kind of looking at the world, the earth piece and the environment piece is one very stark like fuck, because we all live here. And the more of us who awaken to this backlog, as it were, it's obvious that we have to make these changes. And I gotta be really honest with you guys, like the zero waste and the plastic free movements in the UK. I'm in Aries too, all about self-understanding and learning to pioneer. Understanding has been a big piece that's coming in as well for me. Like this, like knowing ourselves, but like having this compassionate perspective of like just wanting to help, not help, sorry, but wanting to understand people better. And not coming at it from this like who did what and who's right and who's wrong, but like how can we just, you know, understand one another better. And but here's the thing, not from a place of telling each other what to do or telling each other who to be. I think that's kind of more old paradigm. So Aries is like the first sign of the zodiac, right? And a lot of us Aries are known to be impulsive, hot-headed, and foolish, and I can definitely fit into all of that. I gotta say, at this point in my life, though, I'm much more coming into my Capricorn ascendant, and so I'm now, it's weird, but I definitely am exhibiting the qualities of kind of Capricorn now. I'm a lot more detached. Certainly when it comes to love and romance, I'm a lot more into my own stability and sustainability, and actually creating that as the 4 pillars of Alta Love, like creating that in my business and my life, like my personal stability without attaching it to a man, for example, or somebody else. It's my own business. So that Capricorn leadership is really coming through. Anyway, I digress. This full moon is really like us stepping into the new world and not looking back. Because Aries is the fool. Aries is us just going, well, okay. I'm learning to see value in everyone's actions, even if they don't fit my preconceived ideas of them, right? And it's so liberating. It's so soft to just totally accept ourselves and totally accept one another, and accept that, like, we really are all coming at life from a little bit of a different perspective. We're all completely unique, and that's sometimes the biggest bit of breaking free or having awakenings from the system, is that we're actually taught we're all supposed to fit into this very narrow form of what a human is, and if you don't fit into that very narrow form, you're off, you're out, you don't belong, you're either, a shitty human, or you're, well, whatever, right? And oh my god, like none of that, even I don't even know how to like perceive in that way anymore. Hey John, how are you? You're a Sagittarius. Interesting. Yeah, I've had different Sagittarians in my life. Sometimes fire signs tend to really bounce off of each other and have good vibes that way. So what else is coming through for this full moon energy report, you guys? So just changes. We're continuing to make changes, but we're continuing to feel supported in those changes. New opportunities, still shedding, clearing, transforming. More of us are experiencing what I call like the simultaneity of our reality. So like I might viscerally be feeling myself transform. One more thought, then I'll let you talk without interruption. I don't mind. I'm using this full Aries moon to commit to creative writing as a hobby and venting, or end venting. Yeah, creative writing. Actually, I talk about that in the Fearless Life Guide. And, oh, that's another piece I would say for this full moon in Aries. So we're basically, it's like we're taking a leap into our sovereignty. We're finally saying, this is me, and this is the courage I need to be me, and I'm going to be me, and I'm not going to look back, and I'm not going to be the person I used to be. And creativity. That came up last night, is that part of the energies right now is us really committing to who we know we are and then being a creative channel. So we're now living in these times, using creative writing to help me vent ideas. Yes, because we need to be the channel, right? We really do. We need to dance, we need to write, we need to paint. We really do need to actually physically do it, to let the ideas keep flowing. Because what we recognize, those of us sharing here, are like, we are the new. There isn't this new world out there that's gonna present itself to us. We are it. So we create it, we channel it, we vision it, right? And creative writing or stream consciousness, Kurt, like, yeah, it's been a staple throughout my life. And again, weirdly, like in the last, like I write content, I haven't been doing as much just like free flow stream consciousness, but like Katie was laughing because both of us, I have like on my computer just pages of random thoughts. So like when juicy little nuggets or things come through, yeah, write them down. If you're in meditation, it's often quite cool to have a journal next to you when you're meditating, just in case you get like a really inspirational thought. So Aries is asking us to commit to our creative channel and be it. Good luck, Kurt. Channel creativity, and we really are, and if an unstoppable creative machine. Yeah, we kind of are that. Like, if you think of the idea of the God Force, the Jedi, like we're tuning to the light. We just are light. We are just infinite, and the more we really kind of commit to that, the more invested we become in the solutions, and it's really fun. Like, I know that I'm happier than ever. I know that I'm more committed than ever. I know that I believe in myself and everyone that's in my world, right? And I know that it's been really dark and challenging to get to this point, but I wouldn't go back, and I don't regret anything, like I love every single person who's ever been in my life, who I've ever encountered, but I'm very much in the present moment as well. And so here and now in this present moment, it's like, now what? Now what? And we're kind of getting into this flow of knowing how energy works in a deeper, so hence understanding. So that's a piece for this September full moon. There's a more grounded sense of a desire to understand one another with greater compassion, and at the same time, kind of like the Aries Fool, just go for it. You know, just step into these new realities, just have faith in these new opportunities, just move in the flow that it feels good, because that's what we've been practicing for a while, right? And it's not necessarily cut and dry. And another thing I'm getting is like that we are able to really reach out in inspiration, you know, and work through any distortions that need to be worked through, and let go and release energies that want to be released, you know, so that we can really, really honor what we want. Thanks, John. As I come into my Aryan stellium, I'm learning to be more authentic, but with this Libra season, I also have to let others be authentic too. Yeah. Well, that's interesting, right? Because I'm about to launch this course, and this whole year and a bit for me has been learning how to work with others. Like, basically maintain my sovereignty, like maintain my individuality, my uniqueness, but work with other. And it's been actually really divine, like a really beautiful learning curve. And actually, like, the more I let go, the happier I am. The more I kind of let like support others in their shining, the better I feel. So weirdly, that's like another aspect of my authenticity. And it's really nice to not have to be out there, and to just trust that others have got this, you know? So there's a lot of us coming, and in fact, Team Love as well, an Aries sense of like independent, fuck you guys, like I'm gonna do what I want, I know what's right. And that, all of that, if any distortion within that is softening. And yeah, it does. It takes huge practice, vigilant practice, diligent practice, right? So it's like how to be our total self, but in collective, you know, knowing that the authentic expression of the total self is what's best for the collective, but it's not living in denial that we're all here together, you know. Hey, Truth Kindness, how are you? Because that's been part of our deeper learning. A lot of us have had these shock experiences of deception and betrayal, and denial, and it's uprooting some of the deepest kind of core wounds that we have. And because it's been a few years coming, this equinox, this year, really completing energies, really letting go of stuff, still trying to figure out the secret of life, but pretty good. I spent all day walking today. Oh, good. Vigilance, diligence, and brilliance. Yeah. It's just not outside, right? I'm more increasing. I'm like, oh man, all those things we say about like addicted to thoughts or like discipline the mind. It's so true. I love it. We're all having a little chit chat here. Like that's the biggest thing is a nice walking all day is a good thing, I think. In the mind, that's the discipline, you know. And that's the weirdest thing. It's the mind and the energy. Oh, no driving for Truth Kindness. Oh, that is interesting. It's more rare these days, I find, for people not to drive. So you guys, from about 3 to 9, that's a long walk. That's a long day of walking. Okay. So energies for this full moon is us almost foolishly, but in a supported way, yet again, taking another leap, maybe stepping into the unknown, but really, really committing and having faith to like our highest, most awesome dreams imaginable. Yeah, I've done that as well. You guys, this is like a party, Rochelle. Basically, we've just been talking about the moon and the fact that it's a portal, and we talked a bit about creative expression. Kurt Mill's saying like being guided like to express a lot more writing wise, to vent ideas. So a lot of us, and then that makes me think, oh my gosh, we might be getting really awesome inspiration. And And then the bifurcation as well. The bifurcation of reality. So this is actually, I think I shared yesterday or 2 days ago about that. It's like these are potent times of choice, right? Like my nursery crimes. And so we're choosing, we're choosing to find love in our hearts for everything on all the crazy shit. And or we're choosing to perpetuate another cycle of fear. And that's kind of the timeline split, as it were. How we understand that, though, I would really not overanalyze or try to kind of, think about this stuff way too much. The biggest practice we can do is just sit with our heart. Like I had a massive, quite beautiful clearing yesterday, feeling into a past situation, and my heart was so active. And it was just love. Like it was just kind of crying and letting myself release. Like Snow White and the Seven Rivers. You guys are hilarious. I love that you're having good chats with each other. Yeah, so we're like really letting go of old wounds, and here's another really nice thing that we must all remember. Like we are all, every single one of us, divine creators. And so we are God. What, that was a question for you. Is there a question for me? Throw me another question because I missed it. So one thing that I'm really reminding myself is like every single person in my whole life that I've ever met, one, we're all eternally connected. Two, like it's all forgiven, Hey, oh, how was the last psychic you saw? The last psychic I saw was, oddly that you asked, because it's been coming up a little bit for me. But it was the very beginning. It was in 2012, October 2012. And it was sort of at the beginning of a new relationship. And actually, some of the stuff she said totally kind of made manifest, but later and weirdly, it kind of all, came out, which is really, really interesting. But yeah, regarding all those past situations, it's like, I don't know. I just like have so much love in my heart, and I just want so much for all humans to access their power and be joyful and free and happy. So I guess that means I just have to keep choosing my own joyful happiness and joyful fulfillment, so that I can just love people better, And I really, and people might not think it, but I really don't like blame anyone. What would you tell your 5-year-old self? You're going to be all right. You're going to be fine. It's a lot to think about what's going to happen soon in the world. Everyone wants change, but we don't yet know what that change will be. If we become the change we wish to see, though, right? We can secure the change we desire. This is it. This is it. And it's one, being pioneers of change, right? Like, so doing the low impact, making changes, talking about it in a light and kind of curious way. That's one thing we talk about and discuss in the zero waste course with people, like not being preachy and mean about it, but just questioning, +1, be the change you want to be, right? That's all we can do. We know that we can't go around trying to fix each other and change one another's mind. I mean, I've had that more recently of, let there be peace, shanti, shanti, shanti. Hey, Pepe. Of like, when more increasingly, when people try to tell you what to do or tell you what you've done wrong or tell you how horrible you've been, he's like, wow, honestly, like, just focus on yourself. Like, we can't, if we're really focusing on how awful other people are, we're not being the change, And this is where I always remind myself to just keep the love going. Yeah, Truth Kindness is on Twitter. And has their own in their journey. I'm understanding that more and more. I know, right? That's it. And this is whatever we discussed earlier with Kurt, or it's like, be the change means really just focusing on ourselves. But weirdly, like, the more we focus and love ourselves, the more we can actually love other people. Put a YouTube chat, like, go to YouTube. What the fuck? Oh, well, find me on Messenger. Oh, you guys. Yeah, a lot of you guys are on Facebook as well. So new opportunities coming in. Who was it? One of you guys mentioned that, like, not knowing, the unknown, and I think actually that's part of the beauty of this. That's why the energies feel a bit scatty and uncomfortable for a lot of people, because, like, in a very kind of real way, as creators in this dimension, we've kind of never hit this stride. We've never, not in a sense that we kind of physically remember in these bodies. Have you been to Asheville, North Carolina? No. I feel like I have driven through the state, though. I have to look at a map and remember my route. My mother and I, a couple of years ago, drove from London, Ontario, and I remember we drove through, I think, Michigan, and then across and then up to Vancouver. We went to San Francisco and a few places in California, and then we drove back, but we drove back a slightly different route. Is one of the most spiritual cities, Asheville, North Carolina. That's why I feel like but in fairness, in California, not North Carolina. Is that where you said, Carolina, or North California? Anyway, there are some really quite kind of hippie towns in America that are doing some amazing things. Yeah, so a new opportunities. We're still in that kind of quite intense phase of releasing, healing, transforming. Highly encourage that, and thanks for that, Kurt, as far as like the stream writing goes, and us. So, like, we all have maybe some new considerations when it comes to creativity. Like, for example, me doing all of this editing, and even Katie's boyfriend was like, "Oh, how is it being behind the camera, right?" And I'm like, actually fucking loving it. Really loving letting someone else do this, and also really impressed, basically, really happy. It's nice. What does your father think of you and your mom's spiritual beliefs? So yeah, new creative endeavors, and then this is helping us. Hi guys. Oops, I think that's the conversation you're having between you. I think my dad at this point is just accepting of the person I am, and I feel like he's on his own journey, and I actually, maybe this is relevant to these energies right now, but my intuition is also saying that this phase, this Aries moon, this kind of next push and movement momentum forward is going to be a little bit more challenging for men, because it's so deep, and it's requiring us to really look at our relationship with our emotions. You guys, I know, I don't know. No, I don't know. No one's writing my biography for me, Rochelle. Okay, yeah. But it's relevant. You ask about the father mother dynamic, and then actually here again is part of this energy flow, is that men on the journey, so leaders of the new paradigm, men creating the new earth, all that. Whoa, you guys are still talking. So this next little phase, there might be a lot of relationship shit that comes up for people who are in relationships or singles. We might just have stuff come up around relationships or new opportunities around that. But I've felt it massive. Like, my whole perspective around romance and relationship is completely different, mainly because I've had to work through all my unconscious, and this last couple of years has been brutally painful in outworking all my shit, basically. Yeah, right? So John just said that about our different relationships, and I just really love my mom and dad. I think they're both amazing people, and my dad has worked hard and done a really good job of being a dad and he's lives his life how he wants to, and I have a lot of respect for that. My mom's just more of an intuitive, sensitive empath, and she's been depressed not most actually, like a big chunk of her life, and me growing up. And so she was a really profound teacher for me on this path. You know, she's the one who introduced me to yoga when I was 13. She introduced me to Louise Hay when I was 14 or 15. And then she's been a big part. She's the copywriter for All to Love, and you know, edited my book and stuff like that. And she's editing the Zero Waste course. So, you know, she's a big part of all of this. But the same goes for my whole family, and the same goes for like the people in my life. You know, it's people that I've fallen in love with and had profound relationships with. That's why I am who I am. That's why All to Love exists, right? Really religiously conservative, but my mother had a much stronger negative reaction to me being spiritual. Oopsie daisy. That's why I find it so inconceivable you had the mom you got. Well, mom studied women's studies, and well, the I guess the polarization of it is like different lessons and learnings from within our family constellations, right? And how we overcome our own personal circumstances or transform them, I think, is a big piece in navigating the new. And all of us, in some way, shape, or form, have a bit of healing to do around our perception of family. Because some of us have to, at different points in our lives, kind of let that go to break free from patterns. They say we choose our parents. I want to know what the hell my soul was thinking. Yeah. I think we definitely do. Once we start owning that, we can go deeper into the kind of lessons and the polarities that our parents are teaching us. And then as we start embodying those teachings, it makes perfect sense. I promise. Once you start to look into that. Hey, MJ, how have you been handling understanding astrology? I'm still not. You actually offer, when you write those comments about it, I love your insights around it. And I'm still kind of doing some learning, but it's more just listening to a lot of astrology. And then what I'm enjoying right now is I have like maybe a handful, 2 or 3 go-to astrologers. Actually, two out of 3 of them are men as well. Have you ever been to Peter Pan 2? I haven't, but I do want to. And what I'm most learning or most enjoying about the kind of astrology is just unique people's connection to planets and planetary energy. And then what else is really fascinating to me is like, because we are the universe, like we are that what we see, and it's all like weird, that is like, to me, how the planets represent different parts of myself, and how all of these different alignments and shifts with the planets are shifting us internally. And then that shifting internally is moving the solar system, right? Like literally up leveling this whole galaxy, this whole solar system, because of our deepening our connection to like us being it. And it's mind blowing. It's rather sort of like, how do you really contain this stuff and put it into words? Hence why evolution, right? Because so much of my inner experiences are way beyond how I can possibly put it into like a word, because word is limited, right? There's finite to language. There's finite reality to language. Mars has been strong for me this week. I keep staring at it of my early morning runs. Any idea why? Yeah, right? Like it's, and I think it's just nice to have interest in like in things to learn about. which is, I think, part to me of like the eternal youth factor of life is like, I don't want to ever know. I don't want to ever, not at this point anyway, I don't want to be finished. I don't want to end. I don't want to end. I don't want to like know everything. You know, it's nice to be from within myself. It's a nice feeling to be a kind of blank canvas. But I also know the blank canvas comes from like clearing patterns, right? I won't leave it until I hit 50. I also know that we're in some kind of 30-year cycle where, do you guys like my PJs, by the way? We're in some 30. I love how I like try to make myself look profesh from up here, and then I love to DM you a love song on Twitter. Is that okay? Sure. I feel like Mars is my old home, or in a different time. I don't know why it's so strong. Yeah, it could be. There might be a strong connection to your movement forward. There could be a strong connection to just having the courage to go into battle, kind of thing, when it comes to us standing our ground and being who we are and who we desire to be. And that's something, as far as like these transits, where if old realities kind of reemerge, if people suddenly pop back up, we can stand our ground and just say, I'm not going back. Mars is, see, Kurt, check it, as in, oopsie daisy, check it to John. See, yeah, nice one. You guys are all seeing this, so it could be reflecting your need for that energy, drive, adventure. Yeah. Well, and that makes sense. I think Mars is like moving forward, and Alta Love has an opportunity to, we're scouting a space, retreat space next weekend, and that's kind of just come out of randomness. So if you can dream it, you can achieve it. For once you see it, it's all but been done. Exactly. Yes, it's a time of energy. Exactly. So basically, we might have a few different doorways. We might have a few different portals of creation open up to us, and I'm just here to kind of permission all of us, myself included, to choose the one that feels the best. Rochelle is on fire with a creative writing. What's a common reaction people have when they hear your American accent? Oh, where are you from? You don't sound like you're from around these parts. I launched 4 products at work this week and 5 planned next week, so it's a roller coaster, but loving it. Holy shazbot. Okay, so a lot of us are launching new things. What do you mean by 30-year transit? Are you talking about the... Yeah, exactly. Thank you, because I wasn't sure, and I just knew that I'd heard in some of them. Are you talking about this? The Saturn transit is in Capricorn right now, so it will be hitting your ascendant, MJ. Yeah. Is that a 30-year cycle? Because but there's another one. This is, I think I heard from Leo King. So the 31 is to do with relationships, love, and marriage, and like big structural shifts in our generation, right? So those of us, I guess, born around the 80s or mid 80s, there's this Capricorn and Saturn shift. But to me is sort of representative of like even a generational shift where the next generation is now stepping into their power, right? Like the Capricorn, like, no, we're going to put these pillars down. It's not going to be this way anymore. This is how it's going to be, right? I am Canadian, eh? But for the Brits, we sound the same. They sound like an American, so. But there's a Kurt Mill, there was another one mentioned as far as this transit that's happening that a lot of us will have never felt before because it happened like 100 years ago, or even more. It happened like 800 years ago. Kids are so aware, and like the new energy, the new codes being born are like the new wave, right? So it's, we can go into this much more deeper another time, but simultaneity, it's the fact that the new energy is already ready to kind of take over. 29 and a half years to go around the zodiac, yeah. So that's it. That's happening now. And then there's another one that's like 100 or maybe 1,000. Yeah, that somebody I heard say like, this is why for some of us, I don't know if you guys are feeling this, but like the last maybe week or 10 days was Teletoon. No, Teletoon? Not at all. Yeah, like yeah, all I can say is like energetically, I'm feeling really unfamiliar with the energy. Like it's not bad or good. I just don't know exactly. Like I've never had this feeling, so it's kind of exciting. I had a cool event dream this week. Does anyone else have them recently? I've not been as much myself. I've just been kind of enjoying life and rolling with the punches, and I'm looking forward to actually sharing from France, from the Alps with you guys. There's potential for ski yoga retreats, but I don't, who knows? You know, life is in perpetual motion. I'm really rather quite enjoying it, and at the same time being totally honest with you guys, like in one given day, I could be really feeling awesome and then go have a hardcore wobble and then sit down and work for like 6 hours, and then before I know it I'm like crying in meditation. And you know, it's like the days are just exquisite and they're full, and it's nice to just feel really kind of empowered and integrated and whole and not be seeking saving or seeking validation or seeking anything. Healing is not linear. Baby. Well, linearity, I guess, is an illusion of our own creation, so that we can have the experience of a finite, limited reality. Because really, everything's going there. Life is more like this and like this. There's one from, yeah, I think this is the one he mentioned. Yes, Saturn and Pluto conjunction. It happens only roughly every 30 years, and this time it's happening in Capricorn. Yeah. Okay, so this is where it's like the energies that were like, no one on the planet has felt these because they've not happened for like 1,000 years or whatever. Cappy is the sign of government, economic contribution, institution. So this is where, okay, and exactly, so we're having a massive shift in highlighting economic corruption, and then how we contribute to society, one another, how we offer value in an institution, and even how we look to public figures is going to change as well. This makes perfect sense. To me personally, you know, shades and the shit of government is being highlighted. The economy as we know it, in my intuitive perspective, is going to collapse from underneath itself. And then contribution is going to be part of where our kind of point of attraction as a collective goes, because we're going to need to contribute to one another to offer value, because we can't stand for the other. And then institutions will shift as our value system of what contribution looks like. Institutions will shift to hopefully just be less shitty and pretentious and exclusive and a little bit more open. And then in publicity, it's like, to me, the collective sway is going to be less turned on by falseness, and the collective energy flow is going to desire more authenticity and kindness from their public figures. I'm in between, so I must get supervision. You should probably go to bed soon there, Michelle. Me too, John. Isn't it weird that we're getting older, but like actually we feel way happier and lighter and more youthful in our bodies? But that's not buying into anything to do with degeneration. I don't believe my body degenerates. I believe I regenerate continuously. 48's young, but then age is just a number, isn't it? And then Saturn and Pluto go into Aquarius, the sign of revolution, collective values, unification, and dreaming. Boom. See, it's like these see, I think it's fascinating as well, because like all my intuitive knowing, as I kind of keep letting it out, basically the planets are aligning with it. So Saturn now going into Aquarius. This is now like the lids have been lifted, people are waking up, and then the energies are pushing people forward. And we are literally creating a new value system. What's a European country that you don't have interest in revisiting? Oh, John, well done. Do a little video of it, please. What's a European country that I don't want to go back to particularly? None really. There's probably like areas of Spain that I wouldn't want to go back to. Areas, but I'd still go to Spain. Areas of Spain. I don't know. Because I'm kind of keen to check out like Poland and Croatia and some of that Eastern Bloc. At John Beanie, can't snap my fingers. Okay, so let's get a video of John doing a handstand eventually. And I'm going to share with you guys from the Alps next weekend, which I'm excited about. And otherwise, happy equinox and happy full moon, you guys. It does take practice every day, right? Thank you, Truth Kindness. Do you have a passport? Come to England. Kurt Mel looking forward to how my fave YouTubers will handle this huge shift, right? I feel like some of us are kind of we're just creating it as well. Like we are the shift. Because I would say those of you resonate with me, we know inside that there's been the shifts happening for ages, but now why it's exciting is that suddenly I'm like, oh my God, I don't have to be alone anymore. Finally, my brothers and sisters are also starting to see it from a different point of view, right? Which is just fucking thank God. I haven't traveled since 27, so I don't know if it's still valid. Probably not. Unless it's a 10-year. No, actually, because that would be, God, no. But a passport is only like $50, so you can do it, yeah. But then I might, I have family on the west coast of Canada, so I would like to, finally I'm not as insane as I thought I was. Exactly right, John? This is how I'm feeling into it, Kurt, as well. It's the next wave, and this is a big one. Okay, bye now. Bye, Rochelle. But this is what I'm saying, guys, is that I want to come to the West Coast. I know, 2008, and that's when the last financial crash happened, right? That's when I got like £100,000 worth of student loans just disappeared. LOL, I love how disjointed our combos are. Yeah, I know, for sure. Like random people tuning into this would just be like, what is going on? I'm like, guys, we're all friends having chit chats. Big hugs to all of you guys. Massive love, big hugs, because I know the energies can be kind of intense, but it does kind of make sense. It makes sense to us if we do. And so I have a degree in acting, and I studied women's studies at University of British Columbia, but I don't have a degree. I didn't finish my first year of university. I didn't finish that BA. I just did one. I did 1 year, completed 1 year. So yeah, our whole world is changing, but we're okay because there's little practical things that we can make. You know, really, really simply, you guys, as we awaken, just being more mindful of what we're consuming, what we're watching on TV, what we're buying with our money. You know, it's all great. Lots of love, Kurt. Thank you. I really appreciate your insights as well. All of you guys, I appreciate your insights. Hidden Observer, I've not seen in a while. I hope everything's okay with her. Okay. Nice one. Enjoy your Netflix. You guys have an awesome day. I'll see you soon. Take care. Peace out.